Hey everyone, so tonight we are at Disney's Riviera Resort. We are gonna go have dinner on the roof at Topolino's Terrace.
We've been really looking forward to this all day long. We had an amazing breakfast here with Caleb on opening day.
Yeah, I will go ahead and link that video down below.
And we've heard only good things for dinner, so we're excited about trying this and bringing you guys along with us.
So let's go eat. So we just sat down. Again, this is a beautiful restaurant. Like we mentioned, we've been here for breakfast, and being here at night for dinner, this is a completely different experience just in the atmosphere alone. In the morning, you have all that bright sunlight coming in, and it just makes everything feel very open and airy. And not that it's not open and airy right now, it's just, right now it just feels a little bit more elevated, maybe a little bit more romantic. We are going to start with cocktails, and we did put our cocktail order in, and we have also decided to start with the gnocchi and the winter pumpkin ravioli. Now, we are big truffle people, and we are very excited to try the burrata con panna, but unfortunately our server let us know that they are actually sold out of that tonight. She did recommend the ricotta. I'm not a huge fan of ricotta, so we are going to go with the gnocchi. Looks like it's got a little bit of duck confit in there, so that is going to be right up our alley. I am so excited.
As Mike mentioned, we started out our night as we typically do with cocktails. One thing to note about this restaurant is it's featuring flavors of both France and Italy along the cliffside of Riviera. Reason why I bring that up is a cocktail I ordered is a very familiar cocktail here for us Americans, and that's the Sazerac VS. The Sazerac VS is made with Cavassier VS Cognac, Ricard Pastis de Marseille, Peychaud's bitters, and sugar. Now, Sazerac, like I said, is very familiar because it is a traditional New Orleans Southern drink, and of course it also comes with the French inspiration of that area as well. Also, something really cool about the top of the ice is it has an imprint of the Riviera logo right on top. So the flavors are very smooth. It does come across as a little sugary, so most Sazeracs that I like have to be a little bit more spirit forward. It's good, it's just a little bit more sugary, so those that like a little bit of a sweeter drink, this will be good for you. I tend to like a lot more spirit forward drinks, but this is still enjoyable.
And I ordered the Pomodoro cocktail. I think that's how you pronounce it. She said it's the golden apple. So this cocktail is basically a mixture of bourbon and apple brandy, so let's give it a shot. Ooh, that's very good. I like it. It almost tastes like an adult's version of apple juice.
So as Mike mentioned, we started with a couple different appetizers just to get some flavors of the menu. We started today with the winter pumpkin ravioli. They displayed a mushroom conserva. I think it's a broth that they poured on top of the ravioli. It looks delicious, and I can't wait to try this. So the mushroom flavor definitely shines through on this. I did get the NP, so I didn't get a ton of pumpkin, but the flavors all together meld perfectly, and it's a really good, delicious piece of pasta on top of this. This is a great appetizer to start with.
We also got the gnocchi to share, and this is gonna have duck confit, pine nuts, some kale. It looks amazing and it smells delicious. This is delicious. It is very creamy, it's very soft and pillowy. I'm not really getting a lot of notes of the duck confit, but I do like the pine nuts. It gives it a nice crunch to it. Very, very good.
So I just dug into the gnocchi, and I completely agree with Mike's description of it. It's good, it's soft, it's pillowy. And at first I didn't get the duck confit too, but it's one of those dishes you gotta really kind of dig around to find where everything is. The duck confit is underneath the sauce and sits underneath the gnocchi. And I have to say, it's delicious with that flavors coming through on that. I'm not disappointed at all. Both of these starters are phenomenal.
Another thing you get at the start of your meal is some epi bread. I love epi bread. This is one of my favorites, and it's probably the same stuff they give you at breakfast, but it was good then. I'm sure it's going to be just as good now. What's interesting is tonight they're going to be serving it with 2 different types of olive oil, and first they're gonna pour you the more traditional Italian style olive oil, and then they also have a French style olive oil, which she said may be a little off-putting. Definitely start with the Italian and then work your way to France.
So I completely understand why our waitress gave us that guidance. What I would tell you is that me personally, I'm not a huge fan of olives. Like, I won't eat olives unless it's in a martini, admittedly, but the French one definitely has a really, really, really strong, like, Kalamata olive flavor to it, which I'm not a huge fan of. The traditional olive oil is definitely more my speed.
So Steve and I are having that struggle where we're sharing these appetizers, but we don't know who wants to finish what, and we've literally passed the plates back and forth at least 3 or 4 times. They are both equally delicious. They're so different in their flavor profiles, but like I said, they're equally delicious, so good. But one thing that's great about this winter pumpkin ravioli is that it leaves a lot of sauce left over that is perfect to mop up with your epi bread. So for dinner, I got the filet mignon. This comes with truffle mashed potatoes, charred torpedo onion, forest mushroom puree, and vinaigrette. This looks spectacular. It smells amazing. You can actually smell a little bit of the char coming off of the filet. And I am a sucker for truffle mashed potatoes. I am very excited to dig into this. Oh wow. Wow. That is so tender. I have seen so many videos where people talk about like steak and, oh, it's like, it cuts like butter or, you know, whatever. This absolutely cuts like butter and it just melts in your mouth. I don't think I've ever had a steak like this, like, ever. This is phenomenal. Truffle mash here. Okay, so this bite, we've got the steak, the vinaigrette, and the truffle mash. This is just beyond delicious. I know I've already said this, but that steak just melts in your mouth, and the truffle mash, they didn't skimp on the truffle. You really get that awesome flavor, and the vinaigrette just kind of cuts through all that richness, balances it out beautifully. I have to say, this may be my new favorite steak on Disney property.
For my entree, I went with our server's recommendation, which is the braised lamb shank. The braised lamb shank comes with polenta, charred carrots, pickled dehydrated pear, and jus. The presentation looks absolutely amazing, and if you're looking at this, it already looks appetizing on its own, just looking at it. I can't wait to dig in. So I have to admit, lamb is not the first thing I would order ever at a restaurant, but this is going to be a repeat for me. The flavors in this is absolutely amazing. So I think she told us it's cooked slowly over 18 hours?
18 hours.
18 hours? Okay. I thought I made that up, but Mike said I'm right. But the flavors are phenomenal. It almost has the texture of a really, really tender wine braised beef short rib, but even more tender than that. The flavors are just phenomenal. Mixed with the polenta, which is a good bed of like a little bit more of a gritty like flavor on top of it. This is amazing. I'm really loving this cocktail selection. I went through the entire cocktail list and 4 cocktails are dedicated to have bourbon as a base, which we all know I'm a huge bourbon fan. Now, having said that, we all know from my previous conversations with each of you that bourbon is only an American-made spirit, but hey, I'm rolling with it. The next drink I ordered is the Spirited Seasonal Cocktail, and all the ingredients sound delicious. Of course, it's a bourbon-based drink, but when I ordered it, our waitress said, "Oh, great, Christmas in a glass." It made me a little bit nervous, especially because that was almost a month ago, but here's hoping it tastes good. This drink is made with Elijah Craig 12-year small batch bourbon, Cavassier VS Cognac, Cointreau Noir, spice orange reduction, and bitters. So as you can see, the garnish is beautiful here. We have some thyme, a little orange peel in here, and the glass is beautiful as well. Not your traditional bourbon-based drink, but let's try it. So what I would tell you is I'm not getting the Christmas vibe on this one, so I hope they actually make this as a staple because to me, it's a little bit of an elevated Manhattan. The flavors are pretty smooth. You definitely don't have that bite that you typically would have when you have a traditional straightforward bourbon drink. I think for those that like Manhattans on a little bit of a lighter side, you're definitely gonna enjoy this drink if you have a chance to try it before they take it off the menu.
And for my second cocktail, I got the Aristocrat. This one also has Calvados, so we're sticking with that like grown-up apple juice theme. Let's check it out. Oh, this is very nice. I would say this is like a more refined, more elegant version of the first drink I got. It's very smooth and it's got a very clean finish. I like that a lot. Very tasty, very refined. I keep saying refined.
Probably because it's Aristocrat.
Oh, there you go. Okay. As you can see, we are beginning to slow down because this food, it's so delicious. It's very rich, but it's very filling, and there's a lot of it. Like, these are pretty good, hefty portions, so you definitely get your money's worth here. But we're gonna back off just a little bit because we really want to get dessert. So I think we're gonna take a little pause right here. Okay, scratch that. I wound up finishing absolutely everything because it was delicious. All right, so for dessert, we ordered the warm Valrhona chocolate cake. Now, I used to be a big baker, and if there's one thing every baker knows, if you see Valrhona chocolate on the menu, that's the dessert you have to get. Granted, I'm also a big fan of chocolate cake, so that's what we're going with tonight. This has a caramel center and it's served with Chantilly cream. This is it just looks decadent. Oh wow. This is so delicious. It's not overly sweet. The Valrhona chocolate has a good amount of like cocoa in there. The caramel seems a little salted, which adds a nice little bit of flavor to it. And also, a lot of the time with these lava cakes, they can sometimes be a little dry. This is not the case here. This is moist, it's delicious. It's lava cake. It's so good.
This is like a dream dessert for me. This is phenomenal. I don't think I've had a malted chocolate cake where the center is caramel. I think this is like our favorite restaurant now. I think this is where we're gonna eat moving forward. This is it. This is our life.
All right, so that wraps up dinner for us tonight here at Topolino's Terrace.
So I know we said this a couple times during the entire dinner, but I think we found a new favorite place for us.
It was so good, guys.
The food was amazing, but I have to say one of the best things about any experience at Disney is definitely the cast members.
For sure.
Lindsay, our cast member that assisted us tonight in picking out the best food, best drinks, great conversation. Again, Lindsay, you're amazing. Thank you for making an amazing night for us with our dinner.
Yes, thank you. This was awesome. As I mentioned, my steak was delicious, and I've seen so many videos where people talk about steaks and they just, I go there and try them and they're just not as good. Trust me guys, this steak was amazing. I am not gonna steer you wrong. It was like, it melted in my mouth like butter.
And like I said, like I would never be one to go and pick lamb as my first default entree. Again, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was phenomenal. Probably better than any braised short rib I've ever had. it was, again, I'm gonna come back just for that.
I got a bite of it. It was delicious. He's not joking. So let us know, have you been to Topolino's Terrace? Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And from our magic family to yours, enjoy.